Good morning, everyone. We're continuing here in the RAMBAM's Hagdama to Mishneh Torah, as we are speaking about the Mesaras HaTorah that comes all the way from Har Sinai to Moshe Rabbeinu, from Moshe to all generations, and we have a monumental event which took place with Rabbeinu HaKadosh, as we pointed out yesterday, in approximately the year 3949, which was the codifying of the Mishnah. And Rambam explained yesterday clearly that the reason that Rabbeinu HaKadosh decided that he had to do such a thing, even though it's supposed to be Torah Sheba'al Peh, only oral, is because there were many challenges that Klal Yisrael was facing in the Gullus, in the exile, with the rising of the enemies against us, the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash, and we were no longer on the level of tutelage and spiritual greatness as previous generations, that we could maintain the pure Mesorah from mouth to mouth, from word of word, from person to person, in only Torah Sheba'al Peh. And therefore he said, in order to rescue the Torah and save it for all generations, we must write it down, and therefore everybody will be able to learn exactly what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to know in Torah Sheba'al Peh. Now we're going to go through many names of the next link in the chain of the Mesorah, with, as the Rambam will point out in certain places, what a major accomplishment was along the way as well. And he says like this: the Elohim Gedolei HaChachamim Shayu Beis Dino Rabbeinu HaKadosh v'Kiblu Mimenu. These are the great Chachamim, the great sages that were in the Beis Din of Rabbeinu HaKadosh, and they received the Mesorah from him. Shimon v'Gamliel Bonov, v'Rebbe Afas, v'Rebbe Chananya ben Chama, v'Rebbe Chia v'Rav v'Rebbe Yanai u'ben Kapara, v'Shmuel v'Rebbe Yochanan v'Rebbe Hoshea. Elohim ha'gedolim shekibu mimenu. These are the ones that received the Torah from Rabbeinu HaKadosh. Alafim u'Ravavos v'Himahim, and together with them, Alafim u'Ravavos mishar Chachamim. There were thousands of other Chachamim, Talmidim, that learned Mishnah at this time in history. Now, Afa Pishi'ilo She'elo Echadasar Kiblu Mirabbeinu HaKodesh HaKadosh V'Amdu B'Midrasha, even though these 11 names that we mentioned are the ones who learned faithfully from Rabbeinu HaKadosh, and they were standing together with him B'Midrasha in the Beis Midrash. Rabbi Yochanan Katan Haya. Rabbi Yochanan was from the smaller ones. Afterwards, he became a student of Rabbi Yanai, and he received Kol Torah, all the Torah from him. Rav received his Mesorah Rabbi Yanai. Ushmul Kibul Rabbi Chananya ben Chama, and Shmuel received the transmission from Rabbi Chananya. So again, even though that they were in the Beis Din of Rabbeinu HaKadosh, and they were certainly learning Mishnayos, but each one had their own, I guess we'll call it, their own private Rebbe, their own Rav that they had in their life that was teaching them Kol Torah Kula, and that's how they continued the transmission. Rav, so what did Rav accomplish? Chibra Sifras v'Sifrei. He was Mechaber, he wrote and compiled these two oral works, which are Sifrei v'Sifra, which came along to explain and to express the main parts of the Mishnah. Tosefta, and Rabbi Chia made what's called the Tosefta, and that also comes to explain in Yonim different ideas that we find in the Mishnah. Uben Kapara Chibru Braisos. They wrote Braisos, which are Mishnaic texts that are outside the Mishnah. They didn't make it in to the final cut of the Mishnah, as we would say, but they are still considered to be the text of Torah Sheba'al Peh, Levar Divrei Mishnah, and those Braisos come along very often to explain words that we have in the Mishnah. Rabbi Yochanan Chibra Talmud Yerushalmi Be'eretz Yisrael. Rabbi Yochanan did something monumental, and that was that he was mechaber. He authored the Talmud Yerushalmi, the Jerusalem Talmud, Be'eretz Yisrael, in Eretz Yisrael, Achar Chorban Abayis, after the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, B'Karov Mishalosh Me'os Shana, which was approximately 300 years after the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash. Now, it comes out that it's somewhere around the year 4014 on the Jewish calendar, 4014, which is about 665 years after Rabbeinu HaKadosh, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, ended up writing the Mishnah. So now you have for 65 years, Klal Yisrael is working on the Mishnah, understanding what it says. You have these other texts that are coming at the same time, Sifra, Sifrei, and you have Braisos, and you have Tosefta, and then Rabbi Yochanan comes along. Rabbi Yochanan is one of the students over here that we are talking about from Rabbeinu Yehuda Hanasi, and then he had his own Rebbe as well. And Rabbi Yochanan was able to write down what's called Talmud Yerushalmi, the Jerusalem Talmud, which was able to flesh out and to explain in greater detail the halachas that we are learning from the Mishnah. We'll hold it over here. There's much more to say, many more people to discuss, and their accomplishments, and then we'll bring it down to the Rambam and to our modern day Masorah that we have going on today. Have a wonderful day.